I desire you would remember the ladies, and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. Do not put such unlimited power into the hands of the husbands. Remember, all men would be tyrants if they could. If particular care and attention is not paid to the ladies, we are determined to form into rebellion, and will not hold ourselves bound by any laws in which we have no voice or representation. From Abigail Adams's letter to John Adams, telling him to remember the ladies, to the final passage of the 19th Amendment, women have been fighting to have their voices heard. Particularly in Missouri, women have historically blazed a political trail.
When they're born and when they're living. So you'll have women who definitely wanted to get involved but just weren't allowed to legally. So I think most historians look at suffrage as the beginning of women's political participation, the movement for suffrage. And in Missouri, that started right after the Civil War. So Missouri had the first state suffrage group. This woman, Virginia Minor, set it up. And then from there, Missouri women's suffrage pretty much follows the national suffrage timeline. So we go through decades of fighting for state amendments to let women vote, or a national constitutional amendment. And some new states come into the union, like Wyoming, Utah, and allow women to vote when they come in. And it's not until 1920, that finally the 19th Amendment is ratified and allows women's suffrage. And women in Missouri played a key role in all of that. So
the political movement for women began from grassroots state organizations and continues today. Southeast Missouri is home to groups from various perspectives that hope to spark rural and female political involvement. Southeast Missouri is an extremely conservative part of the country. District 8 represents most of this area and voted 74.7% in the 2024 election for Donald Trump, according to Ballotpedia. The SEMO Federated Republican Women carry on these conservative ideals.
Here, this is kind of my area, my town. I know a lot of people, and it's been really cool. Me being in the position that I am, it feels like I'm able to kind of get a hold of other people, listen to their viewpoints. Really hear people. I've had a lot of people locally reach out, to me individually that just wanted to talk about their position, with regard to different things going on in the city. So it's really neat. It's really cool, especially having been born and raised here. I do know a lot of people, and because I'm in the position that I'm in, it's easier for me to kind of reach out, to folks and get their viewpoint and see what their thoughts are regarding, different things.
My mom was very big in politics forever, and I hated it, absolutely hated it. I think my biggest issue was I did not ever agree with all of one party and all the other party. I agreed with certain things but as I got deeper in my faith, I feel like the deeper understanding I respected for the Republican Party, which and just more of those conservative values that I feel like are being misled.
The SEMO Federated Republican Women has hosted Jason Smith at their Red Rally on April 24th. Debbie Colliot, the founder of the group, works directly for the congressman.
It is such a reward. I can't tell you. I've worked for Congressman Smith for 11 years, and every day I get to work this job. It's such a reward for me and for my heart and for my beliefs and my values, because I know we're making a difference. We're helping people. Women are nurturing naturally. I think we're more nurturing sometimes, but probably there's nobody more nurturing than my own husband. But we are those folks who can nurture people and help them and realize and stop letting people divide us.
While conservative values remain strong in Southeast Missouri, Democratic groups such as the Perry County Democrats and independent groups like Indivisible SEMO have been making an impact in local politics. Indivisible SEMO hosted a No Kings protest on March 28th, along with 3,000 other nationwide events. Hundreds of people participated, raising their voices on issues that matter to them. It's these issues that emphasize the importance of women in politics.
Women's health care has never been a priority in the United States. I don't think women issues in a whole have really been a need for anyone to be concerned with. Almost, it seems like a lot of male politicians are in place. They do what they want to do. They don't take a lot of things into consideration. It's more about what's important to them. What their constituents that they speak to are also men. So they don't always necessarily have a woman's opinion on these things. But there's a lot of things. This country's not just, it's not like it's a 70-30 split. It's slightly more women to men. And so these things really and honestly should have been addressed long before now. But it's been one step, slow.
Well, first of all, we're underrepresented in politics, and so we need to make sure that people see our faces, especially younger voters and younger women, younger girls. So that's probably the first one. And the second is, I really think I have watched politicians and leaders ignore 50% of the population, the brilliance that made this country what it is. And it makes me sick to think about it. When they passed the NDEA, National Defense Education Act, after Sputnik came up in '57, they gave a lot of money to facilitate the education of bright kids, most of whom were boys. And I sat back and I looked at all these brilliant girls who were being ignored, basically. How can we do that? How can we sacrifice 50% of our national intelligence like that? It just doesn't even make economic sense, fiscal sense, moral sense, ethical sense, and none of that. Doesn't make sense to me. So we just have to be pushy and say, hey, we're here. Listen to what we have to say. We have half of the good ideas. And we gave birth to this country. So there.
Well, because it seems like most of our leaders are men. And I know women can get things done. So I think it's good for women to be more involved.
According to Nielsberg, women account for 50.5% of the U.S. population. Yet, the Center for American Women in Politics reports that women only account for 33.6% of elected officials in state legislatures. In Missouri, women only account for 28.9%. Beyond political advocacy, women in Southeast Missouri are running for state office, hoping to bring their values and experiences to their respective positions.
I've lived here all my life, except for a few years when I lived in St. Louis. My mother was the first woman elected judge in the state of Missouri. My great-grandfather was the mayor of Jackson. Both my parents, my father and my grandfather, were presidents of the American Legion and did service work for the community. My dad was the attorney for the school board for many years. It's just, I've been on service committees and community groups that do service for the communities. And so it's just something that I feel it's what you do to make your community better. You don't complain about something unless you plan to help and be part of the solution.
Oh, well, let me start out with women and men are different. I'm not saying that one is better than the other, but we're just different. We think differently, we act differently, we have different perspectives about things. And it's important that when you're making laws that govern the entire state, both men and women and children, that you have people on there that have a variety of perspectives and not just a white male from St. Louis. You know, we need to have the perspective of men, women, rural, urban, all aspects of it in order to make the best legislation.
While women have made advances in political participation, some challenges still remain.
And it's really frustrating. They'll comment on how I dress. They'll comment on my shoes. And they will never have that comment for a man. And the double standard is something I have dealt with my whole life. And at this point, I'm just, I've thought about it. And if they say something, there's a lot of different comebacks that I can have, mostly one of which is, how old are you? And why are you telling me that? What was the reason that you asked me that question?
Don't get me wrong, in that there's 163 representatives. The vast majority of them are men. And it is harder for a woman to get something done in that building than what it is for a man. It just is. And it's harder to get on leadership. It's harder to get your bills passed. It's just harder. And I think it's that way in a lot of things that we see in the world.
I think women should have a strong voice in everything that that we do. For so much, in in the history books that our kids read about, women did not have a voice. They didn't have the right to vote. And there are, obviously there's areas here in the country where women still don't have a voice. And so it's important that all women have a voice in everything that we do. Women, we kind of run the show, right? Like I feel like we run the family. We take care of our children. We keep everything running. We keep everything going, and we have opinions and we have things to say. And so I think it's super important that women, no matter what your background is, no matter where you're from, no matter really what you believe, that being able to have the ability to say it, it's huge. It's important, and all women should have that right.
This right could eventually lead a woman to the highest office in the land, the presidency.
But would just electing a woman as president make a big, huge difference for all women? Or is it more the person who's in the presidency? So that is what frustrates me when I see that we've never had a woman leader. I wish people could be judged by their deeds and actions and not on their gender.
Out of their work in politics, one of the most important goals is helping the younger generation of girls get involved. Their advice is this.
I think the main thing is just to take that first little step. It doesn't take much. Come to a meeting, see what it's about. See if there's something that interests you, like a certain area. Like, are you really passionate about, healthcare in rural communities? Are you really passionate about the role of women's rights in states? So, there's all these things. You can start petition drives. Something as simple as that. You just take a petition board and walk around your area, talk to people, stop them, say, hey, you're a registered voter. Would you like to sign this petition? It's about A, B, C, D. Sometimes it's just as simple as that.
Get involved. Be active, be proactive. Don't listen to the media. Go find out for yourselves. You're smart women. Go find out for yourselves the real answers.